Stand for the pledge, please.
Oh, shit.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish I had
You
known.
all set, Rick?
But Mr. Coffey wasn't gonna be here tonight. I could have come casual.
He sets the bar. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board to order for August 4, 2014. If I could get a roll call, please.
Bernie Bassett,
Here.
Thomas Wood,
Here.
Martin Manick,
Here.
Michael Cash.
Here.
Gerard Renner.
Here.
Rick Collins.
Resolution 255, approving the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of July 14th and July 21st, 2014 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second.
Second.
Mr. Cashman, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 256, abstract 8A through 14. Excuse me, 8A, 14.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 8A-14, 1355 to 1466 for $250,356.98, and abstract 8A-14, 277 to 291 prepays in the amount of $446,034.53 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
Have a motion. Mr. Renner, second.
Second.
Mr. Cashman. This should be amended in the resolve to read 8A and it's 8B, prepays 8B. Any other discussion? As amended, roll call please.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 257, letter of resignation for Mr. Kevin Keane.
Whereas Mr. Kevin Keene, maintenance worker 2, from the Water and Wastewater Department, has submitted a letter of resignation from his position in the town of Plattsburgh effective July 25th, 2014. Therefore, it be resolved to accept and place on file Mr. Keene's letter of resignation, and it be further resolved the supervisor send a letter on behalf of the town board thanking Mr. Keene for his years of service with the town of Plattsburgh and wishing him well in his future endeavors. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, water and wastewater director, and a copy be placed in Mr. Keene's personnel
Have
file.
a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second.
Second.
Mr. Cashman, any discussion?
We're losing one of the top people that we have in terms of his knowledge of GIS, et cetera, and I think that's gonna be a difficult one to replace, but we need to get some.
Yeah, he was a good young man. He's moving on. He's taking a position with the state. We may actually cross paths with him again in the future in a different role, but I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, because that is a concern of the departments, and as we consider replacements, we want to make sure we have individuals who are proficient in the use of the technology and some of the high-tech equipment we have. And I'm sure we'll be able to fill that. In fact, I think you'll be addressing that before long.
He's done a fantastic job of bringing it up to the speed it is now and
Mhm.
getting it started. And that's what he did, and I think he contributed a lot to the town of Plattsburgh while he was here.
So noted. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Martin Manick,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Renner.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 258, request for a road name change.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh received a letter from James Wood, town of Plattsburgh Highway Superintendent, in regards to a request from Emergency Services to make a road name change. Whereas the current name is Fairgrounds Road, and request has been made to change it to Fairgrounds Road. Now therefore be resolved that Fairgrounds Road be taken off the county list of road names in the town of Plattsburgh, and Fairgrounds Road be added in its place. And it be further resolved that the town board does hereby accept the name change request from the highway superintendent, and that a certified copy of this resolution be given to the Clinton County Emergency Preparedness Office, Clinton County Planning Board, and all town department heads.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanna note that in a case like this, you actually have to see it on paper because it sounds the same when he says it. It's 2 words to 1 word.
What was the big need for it? I read the email. What was the big need for moving forward on something like this? Obviously, when 911 calls it out, it's gonna sound exactly the same.
The only thing I heard is, it had to do with the software in the computer and when they're entering the data, and it was too easy to pass up, so we just said sure.
All right.
Um,
It would
That's
have been
it.
easier to understand if it had been coffee grounds.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Manning,
Yes.
Michael Cassidy.
Yes.
Gerard Brennan.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 214, highway budget amendment.
Whereas New York State increased its consolidated local street and highway improvement program, CHIPS fund, with the extreme winter recovery program for municipalities across the state. Whereas the result of this program, the town of Plattsburgh CHIPS funding increased $16,296.26 over the town's 2014 budgeted amount. Whereas the CHIPS revenue will be received in the highway funds and expenditures will be paid out of the highway funds 2014 budget. Therefore, it be resolved that the town board authorize the following budget amendments. Increased revenue, consolidated highway, $16,296.26. Increased appropriations, road paving chip, $16,296.26. And be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and highway superintendent.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Cashman, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cassidy.
Yes.
Gerard Brennan.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 260, demolition of property at 310 Stafford Road, stop work order by town code officer.
Whereas the town board has received a written unsafe building report from Stephen Imhoff, code enforcement officer, concerning property at 310 Stafford Road. Whereas the report and findings by Mr. Imhoff identified an unhealthy and unsafe condition of said property. And with the board approval, resolution 14-132, Mr. Imhoff issued an order for repair and compliance. Starting work must commence within 30 days of said notice and must be completed within 60 days of said notice, in accordance with local law number 1 of the year 1983. And whereas resolution 14-198 awarded the bid for demolition to Josh Laware, blacktopping and sealing, 81 Kennedy Road, Post Office Box 88, Katyville, New York, 12918. And with further review of said project, a stop work order has been placed on said property by the code enforcement officer, as noted in the attached letter. And whereas Mr. Ware has submitted a total cost of work completed on the property prior to the stop work order. Now therefore be resolved, supervisors hereby authorized to sign any and all related documents relative to the work of said contract, subject to review and approval by the town attorney. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and code officer.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renner, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
Wasn't the fire prior to our issuing the order to have it torn down?
Correct.
Why wasn't there determination made at that time that the work couldn't be completed? Because as I recall, the bids went out, there was no determination of an asbestos problem at that time. Now all of a sudden, in the middle of the job, we've got a determination that the whole thing has to be treated as contaminated.
It was inspection. When they,
Yes.
when they went to inspect the building, to determine if there was asbestos in the building, they determined that the building was in an unsafe condition. And the state has a rule that when they do that, and they therefore say they can't go in and inspect the building, the building is considered to be filled with asbestos.
Again,
It's a wonderful, you know,
Yeah.
some,
I
you
don't,
know, buddy comes up with that.
bureaucratic red tape, but I question as to why that didn't come up prior to the letting of the bid go out, because now we're paying somebody for part of a job, and we're going to be looking to have the rest of it taken away, demolished, so we're gonna be paying twice.
I'm not sure.
Well, Mr. LaWare is looking for payment on what he's done to date.
Yeah,
And now he has to treat the whole thing as if it was asbestos, which means additional costs, I would imagine, for disposal of the debris. So there will be an additional cost attached to the demolition.
Cost of demolition is going to go up significantly now.
Right. I just don't know, Marty, why we weren't, none of this came to light before the award bid went out. Because now it looks like we're gonna be paying for the job twice.
it couldn't come to light until the building was inspected. And what happened was, when they went to inspect the building, they, the people that, and they're the only people apparently who were doing this work, indicated that they couldn't inspect the building because it was in an unsafe condition.
Right.
And when they do that, by state regulation, then the entire building is to be considered to be asbestos.
They didn't do the inspection until the demolition was ordered, and if you wanted to get that determination prior, you would still have to pay someone to go out and do the inspection.
Right. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, had we gotten the inspection prior, then Mr. LaWare's bid would have been different, and probably everybody else's bid would have been different, bid on demolishing the building. Now we've got a contractor who's gone in there, done some of the work, was issued a stop order, and wants to get paid, rightfully so, for the work that he did. And we're still left with a partially demolished building that now has to be cleaned up.
Well, I think what Gerard is saying is the sequence of the event needs to be looked at for future situations, so that if we can address it earlier
Yeah.
on, that the bids are truest to form right to begin with.
I think there's a reason, and bear with me,
Mhm.
okay? Because I had a fairly lengthy talk with Steve about it. There's a reason why we did not order the inspection. We instead worked with Mr. Ware and did the bidding, and as part of his bid, he would order the inspection. And that apparently is, the manner in which they go forward with this stuff.
All right.
And it's detrimental to the town. The rules and regulation are different if the town orders the inspection.
I see. It still seems awful fuzzy math to me type of thing, but, I appreciate the fact that you did have the answers to my questions, and it shows that you're at least taking a look at it, you did take a look at it prior, so.
And I question on 715 why they're billing for asbestos inspection and you say they can't have an inspection.
Well, I understand that, Thomas,
Yes.
because the whole thing has to be determined as being contaminated because of the condition of the building, but again, it goes back to my initial question as to, I don't know if it needs, like Mike says, needs to be added to our checklist when we go through with demolitions to try and get that determination made earlier.
It's a state regulation that leaves things open to some gamesmanship. I don't wanna go further than that without, saying more than I should say, but, if you're,
All I can say, it's not a state mandate. You gotta pay more money.
All right, thank you.
Or us or the
That-
county.
I think if we had 3 firms in the county that were doing asbestos inspections, we probably wouldn't be in this position.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mannix.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Martin Manning,
Yes.
Michael Cash.
Yes.
Gerard Renate,
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 261, appointment of David Luke as a maintenance worker 1 in the Water Wastewater Department.
Whereas there is a vacancy in the position of maintenance worker 1 in the Water and Wastewater Department that was duly posted and advertised. Whereas after interviews in the aforementioned position were held by the director and supervisor of the Water and Wastewater Department, And whereas upon completion of the interviews, it is recommended that the interview committee, that David Loop be appointed to the vacancy in the water and wastewater maintenance worker one position. Therefore be resolved that the town board is hereby authorized the hiring and appointment of David Loop to the position of maintenance worker one at a step 2 rate of pay of $19 per hour. And it be further resolved that this appointment will become effective following final civil service approval, and that the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents for the appointment of Mr. Luke to the position of water and wastewater maintenance worker one for the probationary period not to exceed 12 months. And it be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, water and wastewater department director, and Clinton County Personnel Department.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
On the second resolve, last sentence, I would insert between I with A and then probation, 12-month probation period, and I would cross off the next 5 words, not to exceed 12 months.
Okay, play that back by me again. You want to make it just affirmative that it is
Yes,
a 12-month?
yes, because, as you know, in some instances, these can be extended. And yes, we usually go through 12 months, but that we shouldn't be putting in words that limit it.
Well, it is limited by civil service to 12 months unless you have an
Yeah.
extenuating circumstance.
Exactly, so just putting it down to,
Just say
with a 12 month.
probationary
So-
period of 12 months.
Probationary period of 12 months. That's, okay?
Yep.
All right, Marty, you agree with that?
I agree with it, yep.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Fred Rennick.
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, the resolution carries. Now, every now and then when I'm gone, I hear about how there was a record meeting. I don't know how this one fits among those other records, but,
We try to talk a lot to keep
this is,
it going.
I know you were, and I was trying to keep the gavel going, but, I don't have any other, business at this time. With that said, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, I do have a question about whether or not you received any information on August 1st, and if we have to discuss anything.
No, I haven't gotten anything yet. I would expect that forthcoming anytime. In fact, I'll make a note to follow up and see where we're at.
Ernie? I just wanted to make a little correction on the highway budget amendment. You said it was number 214 and it's 259.
Did I say 214? A little dyslexia. Yes, it's 259.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With that said, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Renadin, second.
I've been missing that.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Mark Mannix,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Gerard Rennick.
Yes.
Bernie Bass.
Yes, we will stand adjourned at 7:20. I think that's a record.
Oh, Gerard, you didn't get that from the base.
No, it's been going on for quite some time. Michael went in there, showing rotator cuff, torn bicep.
I think it has something
Bursitis.
to do with the town of Plattsburgh.
Yeah, it was good enough for Bernie, good enough for Marty,
Maybe
good
it
enough
was
for me.
Bernie and it's you and it's Marty. Something is here. How's the base?